Don't touch that mouse. You're watching Gatebreaker Chugs.
Oh yes, folks. Welcome back to Gatebreaker Chugs. Oh my goodness. Today, we're gonna be chugging some green slime that I found in the sink. Oh yes. This slime came out after the last Coffin Dust album came out. Absolutely fantastic. Today, we're gonna chug it. Oh my goodness. Let's open the top. Ooh, yeah. It's corn. It smells like Carcass's first LP. Get it in there. We're gonna be chugging it out the 3-liter Das Boot. Oh yes, folks. You see that in the glass? Oh my gosh. All right, folks. We're ready to chug this green slime. This Das Boot full of green slime. Enough talk. Oh. Gotta keep the chug going, folks. Oh. That's the chug, folks. All right, now the Thunder's gonna try the chug. Thunder, say something.
Alright, should be good to go. Oop, looks like there's a smudge on the lens there. Look, here, let me get that. Oh, there we go. I think we're good. So, how's it going, everybody? It's been a little bit since I did one of these. Oh boy. So today I finally wanted to kind of force myself to do another album review, and let me tell you, I am very excited about this one. It's not really a new album, but honestly I just think it really needs more attention because it is criminally underrated, and I don't use that term lightly, I tell you. And that album is Nightmare Vision by the fantastic, amazing, incredible, awesome, cool Coffin Dust. Oh, is that an angel coming down from the heavens? This is rad. Coffin Dust is honestly kind of hard to nail down to a certain subgenre, but I would describe them as kind of a blend of death metal, thrash metal, and grindcore with a lot of heavy punk influences. I first heard of this slimy band when I was watching Go Nilok, and after listening to their first album, I was hooked. I was like all over Twist out here, just like, give me some more. And so then I listened to their second album, Everything Is Dead, which was pretty good but didn't quite quench my thirst. And finally in 2021, according to the encyclopedia, metallum, it came out with Nightmare Vision, and oh boy, it is a good album. So this album begins with REM, a synth intro with clean guitar melodies that highly resemble that of the Obelisk from their first album. This introduction can be slightly harsh on the ears at times, but it is wonderfully melodic while still maintaining its ambience. Ambiance? I always forget which... Is it I'll look it up later. The track transitions into the slimy carnage we know and love, and between tracks there are occasional horror movie and gore samples that add to the kind of campy and cheesy tone of the album. It is definitely clear that Coffin Dust had fun with these inclusions, and their sense of humor is very much appreciated. The album eventually ends with Vision, which is a satisfying mixture of the themes presented throughout the album. Regarding structure, the only issue is that REM and Nightmare are combined into a single track, and honestly, both pieces are long and interesting enough to be separate in my opinion. Compositionally, this album is phenomenal, and its greatest strength is its unique mixture of subgenres. While there are plenty of bands that will mix death metal, thrash metal, or grindcore very well, Coffin Dust is able to blend these compositional techniques so seamlessly that they kind of create a musical style of their own. Every member of the band is able to jump from each style to the next so rapidly that the writing does not feel like a mixture of different styles, but rather one unified whole. While this very distinct compositional style is impressive on its own, there is certainly more to discuss regarding this album's writing. The guitars particularly stand out with absolutely riffs. Seriously, I wrote killer riffs like 4 times when taking notes for this review. It's insane. Tracks such as The Existential Drift, Kaiju... I still don't know how to say it. Is it Kaijutag? Whatever. Morgue Boss and Feed Me all have especially satisfying riffs and very nice variations on those riffs as the songs progress. The guitars tend toward their middle ranges, which is a very welcome change from the low and heavy drop Z chugging of many death grind or death thrash bands. The riffs are also very melodic, and harmonies are used on tracks like Call of the Weird, Grave Euphoria, and Morgue Boss. These harmonies are usually kept fairly brief, which makes them much more impactful and memorable. In addition to the fantastic riffs, the lead work on this album is absolutely wonderful. Slime's solos are a brilliant mix of shred and melody, occasionally sounding like solos from later Carcass albums. Slime is the lead singer, by the way, and the lead guitarist. So you know. REM/Nightmare and Grave Euphoria have especially well-written solos, with Grave Euphoria sounding almost, in a way, heroic. Oh look. Oh, the angel's coming back. The drums are also quite impressive compositionally. They excel at creating a truly chaotic sound, especially during some of the D-beat sections with the persistent crash cymbal. However, the drums are given some interesting variety in addition to the chaos, such as switching drum patterns to create variations on riffs, like in the Existential Drift, or the stop-and-go blast beats on Grave Euphoria. Though the guitars and drums are very well composed, the bass could use more attention. The bass does set up some nice harmonies, and it doesn't always mimic the guitars, but it just doesn't get a chance to stand out in the album as it did in their first album. A bass solo or feature would certainly be a welcome addition to this album. Now, unfortunately, there is another issue with the writing that should be addressed. While the unique style of the band and the variety of tempos do alleviate the problem slightly, unfortunately the riffs do sound fairly similar throughout the album, with largely the same key, time signature, and general form. While it's easy to say that the lack of variety is simply their style, Coffin Dust has proven that they can branch out from this repetition, particularly with Morgue Boss. The track particularly stands out on each listen of the album, as it experiments with F minor and a highly melodic, almost chorale-like opening riff. This uniquity... I also don't know if that's a word. Is uniquity a word? Uniqueness? Is that how you say it? This uniqueness, or whatever it is, might be due to the track being released far earlier than the album as a single, but it demonstrates that Coffin Dust has the ability to experiment with new compositional ideas while maintaining their style. Perhaps playing with different time signatures or forms could introduce some more variety. Despite the flaws with the bass and the repetition, Nightmare Vision still has fantastic composition with a great mixture of styles and amazing melodic riffs that give Coffin Dust their signature writing style. Regarding the sound, I am very pleased with this album's production. In addition to their unique writing style, Coffin Dust has also created a very distinct sound quality. The guitars have an interesting EQ choice, with one guitar being more scooped in the middle frequencies and the other having boosted middle frequencies. Typically this boost is done to the bass in order to let it stand out among the scooped guitars, but this choice allows the two guitars to create a full wall of sound, but also allowing each guitar to be heard individually. This alteration can be heard especially well on 6 Shift, when the guitars pass the opening riff between each other. Kind of like hot potato with that. This is stupid. Despite the wall of sound made by the guitars, the bass is still pretty intelligible. However, rather than using EQ to be heard, the bass uses very hard attacks, and this interesting kind of rattle quality to the sound that make it kind of stand out. In addition to the production choices of the guitars and bass, the drums add distinct and I'm such a bad writer. I wrote, the drums add distinct and pleasing aspects to the album's overall sound. Okay. The kick leans towards lower frequencies, but it still has a hard attack, meaning it doesn't get too muddy in the mix. The snare is notably different from the previous 2 albums, but not so unique that it is obnoxious. And the cymbals are made very soft on the ears, which pairs well with the persistent crash cymbal hits in certain tracks. Finally, the vocals show strong improvement from the previous 2 albums, which already had some pretty strong vocal parts. In addition to his lovingly gruesome low growls, Slime decides to try some new vocal styles on tracks like REM Nightmare, Ectoplasmic Meltdown, and Vision with its humorous vocal effects. In summary, this album has no major concerns regarding sound quality or production, and the vocals especially have majorly improved from the last 2 albums. Is majorly a word? I really should not be drinking like after I hit the record button. Regarding similar albums, All Guts No Glory by Exhumed, We Came for the Dead by Ghoul, and even Surgical Steel by Carcass are somewhat similar to this album. However, Coffin Dust has created such a unique writing style and sound that it is really an album of its own. My favorite song off this album is probably Morgue Boss. Again, this track really shows Coffin Dust experimenting with new compositional ideas, and it is executed very well. The opening riff is given a lot of different interesting variations, and it shows good musical maturity for the band. However, my favorite riff is actually the chorus riff from Kaiju Tagen. Is it Kaiju Tagen? Something like that. This album has easily become one of my favorites. Though the riffs can be similar at times and the bass could have been more prominent, the writing and sound are really well developed and Coffin Dust has really grown their own style. I'll give this album a very respectable 9 out of 10. I know. It's crazy. For the death metal or grind fan that is not too serious or technical, I would highly recommend giving this album a listen. Coffin Dust has taken a very creative and refreshing approach to their music. And this spirit is what makes this album so special. Alright, all done. Yeah, you guys need to check out Coffin Dust though, seriously. Like, I'm not sponsored, but you really should. Please give them more attention, they really deserve it. What do I need to do? Have I shown you guys my math pen? I don't think I have. This is the old math pen. Got it from a nice little store. Store. Look at this. Very nice. Purple. It's a Pilot. Pilot G2, I think. Something like that. I don't know. Look at this. Ooh, it's an excellent pen. It's an excellent piece of stationery. Should I be a pen channel? I think I should. Anyway, bye.